So I've got two different spinning reels here. I've got they're both Shimano. One's a Stratic CF4 Plus and one's a Sedona. And this one is a 4000 series sized reel. I use this for stripers. It's got braid on it. I actually just got it last year, but it did see quite a bit of action, so it's got some dirt and stuff on it I can see. And then this always gets the most use. This is my trout reel. So and I actually clean this one a couple times a year because it gets so bad, but these two are a little bit different to clean because this Stratic here actually has a maintenance port on it as well. You can see right here. You just take a regular screwdriver and unscrew that port and drop a little bit of oil in there. But with this one, you can actually take off these bolts on the side, pop that side plate out, and you can grease the gears like that. This one does not have a maintenance port on it. So we'll go ahead and do the Stratic first. Just start unscrewing the drag here. And I'm not just like the Baitcaster, I'm not really going to get into the gears and start taking stuff apart. And then you can unscrew your handle as well. I'm going to clean the outside of the reel with my rag first, just get some of the crap off from it. Usually that's what you do first, but just got some solvent on here still. Just going to rub the whole thing down. Forgot to unscrew this here, the other side of your handle. Pop that right off. And any places you can't get with the rag, just use the Q-tip. I'm going to clean that shaft off nice. Yeah, I got some tree particles from the woods and a whole bunch of crap in there. All the grease off the top of this. There's a lot in there. I don't know why I put that much in there last time. And then clean inside of here. And clean this too. I'm going to take this screw off here on my bail. Ooh, that sounded kind of sandy when I unscrewed that. And that's going to give me access to this little bearing in here. Take everything out the way it went. And you want to clean this really good. Clean that out. Clean this side out. I'm going to clean this bearing a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on it right now while I've got it apart. One drop on each side, a really small drop, maybe like a half a drop. Now we can put this back in. And then I'm going to put a little bit of, just a drop of oil on it. I'm going to grease these threads up here a little bit. I'm going to oil the shaft, and there's a bearing down in here. Bearing right down in the bottom. Oil the shaft nice. And then you can take these off, oil and clean in there, but I'm just going to put a little oil on the crack there and work it in. And we're going to take this maintenance port off on the side here. I don't want to mar up the end of that plastic nut there, so I'm going to use, I don't have a screwdriver, so I'm just going to use a knife with a flat tip on it. There, got that in just to get it started. Unscrew that, pops right out. couple drops of oil in there. And then we seal it back up. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in these bearings here where your handle goes. Just 1 drop each on each side. That, and then I'm also gonna oil this handle here. I'm gonna put the handle back on because I don't need to do anything else in there. Tighten that up nice. Put the cap on this side. Work that in a little bit. And then I'm going to take the spool here and this little thing up in here, see if we can get to it, that moves. You're going to want to put a little bit of grease on that. It's your clicker for the drag. Just pull a little bit of grease right on where the nut kind of screws to it. Press it in there. If you can see that or not. Alright, so now we're just going to put the spool back on. There's already some grease in there from last time, but I'm just going to put 1 dab in there and then just kind of move it around on the surface of that metal in there just so it kind of covers it. Alright, we put the drag back on and should be good to go. Yep, she's good. And then we'll look at this one really quick. It's all pretty much the same. I'm just gonna pop this off for you, except this comes off really easily. All you do is you pull this right off and that actually comes right off that, and then you can undo this nut here and actually get inside of that. And with the Stratic, it's way more parts, and I don't really feel like busting the thing. Now we can try to get this nut off. So that's all off. And now this piece should come off. Yep, there we go. You can see they've just packed the grease right in there from the factory. I guess I don't need to add any. This is a pretty new reel anyways, but I think I'm going to take some of that out. Holy crap. Look at that. And just move it around a little bit and get it back on the teeth of those gears. But that's what it looks like inside, and that's where you'd want to put the grease on. Well, you can see it all down in there, but you'd want to just get it on those teeth. But I'm not going to do anything with this because it's already pretty good. So now we're going to go to the fly reels, and there's basically, I got 2 different types here. This is probably the easiest to maintain, and by the way, none of my reels are using salt water, so they're not going to be that bad. You don't need to do a lot of maintenance to them. But this right here is it's an LL Bean pocket water fly reel, and it's for a 3 weight rod that I use for small streams and stuff. And basically a click and pawl reel, there's no drag really. There's a little bit of a setting here, but it basically just gives you enough tension so it doesn't backlash when you're stripping line out. And because it's made for small fish, like small brook trout, brown trout, things like that, and that's what I use it for. So basically, it's pretty clean on the outside as it is. I keep it pretty clean, but you would want to just wipe it down. If it wasn't, with the rag. Some guys soak these in soap water. I don't do that. I don't want to do that. I don't really know if that's that great for it. I just kind of get my fingerprints and nasty crap off from there. You can take a Q-tip and work on all these little ports and stuff if you wanted to, but they're actually not that dirty. The dirt you can see is on the inside. So to take this apart, flip this little latch here, pull on it, and the reel comes right out. The spool comes out, I should say. Basically all you got in here, that's your drag. And you adjust it. This is the adjustment here. It just adds a little bit of tension, and it's not much, but it works pretty good for smaller trout. And you can see it's fairly dirty in there, and a little bit of dirt, grime, and grease on there, so we're going to clean that up. I'm going to go after this with a Q-tip and the solvent. And you can see there's a little bit of grease, that's old grease in there. I'm just going to clean it all. This might actually work better with just the rag. Yeah, it does. Alright, so I've got those cleaned to my liking, and now I'm going to grease this up in here. And I'm going to put grease on all of this. I'm not going to oil any of it. I'm going to grease the whole thing. I'm going to grease this shaft, put a little on there, take my finger, rub it around, just get a nice little coating on there, and then I'm going to grease these little tabs here. Anywhere where there's going to be metal on metal contact, you might have to kind of smear it around with your finger. And then also, you're going to want to grease, if you have a click and pawl, you want to grease right in here a little bit. Mostly down around where these metal springs are, because when you tighten this drag a little bit, they slide on the metal. So it'll just kind of keep that metal lubricated a little bit. Tighten it up and put some on the bottom too. And that's all I'm going to do inside of there. And then I'm going to put some grease on this gear here. Not a lot. Some old grease already in there. Put some on there and then rub it with my finger. So I've got that pretty good. And then I'm going to put some actually down in here too. Just put a little glob of it and then take a Q-tip and run it just kind of on the outside, not too deep in there. You want it to get all pushed to the back anyways, so that, and then this outside piece a little bit. And that's pretty much it for the click and pawl. Just push it back together. Yeah, you can put a little bit of oil on this handle here, just to get it, if you'd like, or not. So that's that. That one's done. And then the other type of reel we have here, this actually has a drag on it. This is the LL Bean Double L series. This is for my 7 weight. I use for bass, lake fishing from my kayak, for trout, big rivers when it's windy, and then this is for my 5 weight. This one's probably the one I use the most out of the two, and I'm probably gonna need to put a new line in this issue. But basically, it comes off the same way. Flip this little tab up, pull, it comes right out. And there's really not much to this either, because it's all pretty much sealed inside. The drag is all sealed inside of this right here. Fly reels are really easy to maintain, keep clean, because they're all pretty much open. They're not like a spinning reel or a baitcaster where everything's enclosed. Most of the moving parts are exposed. So, and I'm just cleaning that. That's how long that took. And then I'm just going to put some grease in here. A little bit inside there. Spread it with a Q-tip. A little bit more. And then we're going to put some on here too, on this shaft. And I'm not going to put oil on this because I don't know if I put oil on this right here where this seam is, it might get into the drag, and I don't want it to mess with that at all. So I'm just going to use grease on the outside of it. And then we just push it together. Same way we took it off. It's all back on. And put a little oil on this. So we did a spinning reel, actually 2 different types of spinning reels, a Baitcaster, and we did a couple different fly reels, which are really easy. So I got a few more Baitcasters I got to clean up, so I'm going to do that, but I'm going to send you guys off here. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or anything that you do differently, leave it in the comments, because I'd like to know if you use anything else to clean with, or if you take your reels apart and do something else with it. I'd like to know. This is what I've been doing with my stuff for a while, and it seems to work fine. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you'd like it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you out there. Thanks, guys.